Hello, this is Hank Tyrone from the 404 coming live and direct to you, making this outstanding video of a video from my particular platoon in Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 34th Infantry, 1st Battalion Brigade, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. This was June to August 1992. One of my battle buddies from my platoon, and every platoon within every company, and there's normally 4 platoons to each company. First, second, third, fourth, and then you have one company. Then you have about 4 companies, and within 4 companies, you to 1 battalion, and you have about 4 battalions. So we're in the 1st Battalion of the 34th Infantry of the 1st Training Brigade. The brigades are above battalions, but battalions are above companies. Companies are above platoons, and platoons are above squads. So this is my basic training, 1992, United States Army at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. The first time I ever been to South Carolina in my entire life. Wasn't the last, but first time I've been to Columbia, where Fort Jackson's located. And one of my battle buddies about maybe 5 years ago celebrated us by uploading it with other particular companies. And I couldn't believe it, because the last time I even saw this video was on VHS cassette. We got it in August of 1992. I was a 11th grader in my summer of 11th grade year, and I went to, quote unquote, Fort Jackson, and then it was called the Late Infantry Program, because of the desire to one day become an Army officer. But I felt the way to become one was to go enlisted first, which I will say it is the way. We call it Mustang. So if anybody watched this video and never heard the word a Mustang, that means you go from green, which is a private, to gold, which is a lieutenant. And of course, if you want to become a general, most likely that will not be the way you would do it, because again, there is a process and a price to pay by being enlisted first and then becoming an officer second. But there's also a beautiful thing as well, because your soldiers will follow you through the mud, follow you through anything, because they know you've been there. They know that you understand what it means to peel potatoes, be called "What's up, pride?" And the whole aspect of the drill sergeant, you tell your moving too slow. I mean, the whole mindset of the experience of the military, which today is being challenged. And I decided I'm going to do a video of it. And I'm going to tell you my story, because I found myself actually being videotaped a couple of times in this little 28-minute video. And I had lost all of my basic training stuff from 1992, because I moved many, many places, and it had gotten lost. So YouTube and one of my battle buddies from my platoon within my company uploaded it and then told me on Facebook. I was like, oh my God. I watched it. It was like, and that was way back in 2018 when I got this video. I was like, oh my God. And I'll tell you my story as we go at the end. But let's watch it. Save time, because people click off and don't watch it. So let's do it.
We knew we were starting a whole new way of life when we arrived at our new basic training company. After the few days we spent at the reception battalion, we thought we knew all there was to know about the Army. Well, we quickly realized how wrong we were. The drill sergeants really kept us in line while we collected our bags, and we knew for sure who was in charge. The next 8 weeks of training was going to be tough, but with the help of our buddies, we knew we'd make it through to graduation. The company area was going to be our whole world for the next 2 months.
So right now we're doing what's called a count. And all of us privates or private first classes, depending on if we had JROTC for a couple years or not. At this time, I had JROTC for 2 years. So I enlisted 3 years at that time, 3 years, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. And I was getting ready to go into my 12th grade. And what we have is called the delayed entry program. So for 12th graders or those in the going to the senior year of high school, they can enter in the military early and then do AIT after their senior year of high school. So it's like a separation of your first phase, basic, then you go back to school for a year, then you go to that 12th grade, you graduate, you walk around the school, everybody's like, oh my God, you went to basic training, wow. And we'll talk about the benefits of that experience, being a 12th grader, having this experience that you'll see at the end. And then the aspects of going back to AIT. And then from there, my experience was I, praise the Lord, got accepted into a military college. And I went right into ROTC, senior ROTC. And it took about 5 years to get my commission, and I got my commission as United States Army Second Lieutenant. And that's a whole different world. So going from the private for about 5 years, to making it all the way up to sergeant, and then commissioning as sergeant and going to lieutenant, and then serving my country until 2002. So I started in 92. My career ended in 2002. So that's about 10 years. And right after 9/11 happened. And so we were, all of us young kids, and this was a mixture of young kids that are 12th graders with older men who were 18, out of school, 19, 20, all the way up to about 35. And all of us in a platoon in a company. And there were some of us that were just, they knew right shoulder arms and how to do it precisely, because I was a drill team commander, color guard rifleman on the left-hand side. And so the military weapons was my passion. Drill team was my passion. But then there's others that didn't know a thing. So when they grow and they get involved in the world of ROTC, they get an edge, a very powerful edge. But there's a lot of people that never will ever do JROTC, Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. And believe me, it was our job to teach our battle buddies, that's what we call each other, battle buddies, those skills. And that's what teamwork is all about. And believe me, some of the best guys I served with, they had no ROTC experience. I fortunately ended up doing 4 years of ROTC, ended up becoming a Army JROTC battalion brigade commander. That's basically in the positions of officership or positions of command. You have what's called a squad, the lowest level. Then that's a group of about 12 people. Then each is about 3 squads into a platoon, 3 to 4 squads into a platoon. And so that's like 12 times 4, right? So about 48 to 50 per platoon. Then you have 4 platoons in a company, right? So that's about 50 times 4. So that's about 200 soldiers in a company. And then you have 4 companies in what we call a battalion. So that's 200 times 4, 800 within a battalion. And then, of course, in a brigade, you have 4 companies within 4 battalions in a brigade. So that's 800 times 4, 2,400 within a brigade. And then after that, you have a regiment, and that's the highest level. Or actually, well, that is a division. So you learn all these things in basic training. And from that experience, you just, never forget it. And now, as I celebrate 31 years later watching this video, it's like all the things that I talked about years, it just comes right back. It just floods my mind. So I'm going to go through this, but I have to talk about it because this is my company. This guy right here was one of my battle buddies. To this day, we laugh because he was walking around in parade rest. He didn't know what parade rest was, and he was actually walking with his hands behind his back in parade rest. Now, parade rest is a position of that we rest in. And basically, we're standing in a position where our hands are behind our back, feet shoulder width apart, looking straight ahead. And normally, for all non-commissioned officers, that means sergeants and above, all the way up to E9s, command sergeant majors, you talk to all of them in parade rest. So either a command is given at ease, or parade rest. And both those commands you learn as a private very heavily because you never see officers in basic training until the end. So a lot of us, the only officer stuff, if you were ROTC, you saw cadet officers or your PMS or cadet teacher / lieutenant colonel, and he's the only officer you ever knew in the military, unless you had father that was military, mothers that were military. Most of the people that I grew up with, I went to African American high school, mixed high school actually, but the school was called Inglewood High School, Jacksonville, Florida. Still has ROTC to this day. It's one of the remaining we had at least in Jacksonville 10 different JROTC programs. It's now down to about 7, and my school is one of the last remaining ROTCs. So I look very much forward to going back as a person that, this year I celebrate my 30th year of graduating from high school. I graduated high school in 1993. So this was 92, and to be in 93 now or 2023 doing this video and going back in time to watch, it is phenomenal. And this will go to my ROTC channel because I think it's just amazing. That God, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be alive to be able to see this video. And with all the good and the bad, all the happy and the sad, all the things I've experienced, I would definitely want to say that I truly miss these guys and wish I could reunite with them. I have not seen this guy since basic training. I remember him like yesterday, but we all came from across the country, and we all had never met each other. But about this time of day, we did basic training in 8 weeks. Now they're doing this one unit training, and they call it now one OSIT. And there's a lot of issues going on with the Army right now that I just decided, okay, it's time for me, like Jameson Travel, who was a YouTube content creator and does Marine videos because he was a former Marine. We need to do Army videos for us that were former Army soldiers, because I definitely think that the war there's always going to be new wars. It's always going to happen. We're going to always be fighting across the country, across the world. And the reality is the next group of generation kids got to step up and accept the call for the safety of the nation. It's just the way life has had it since back in Roman times, Roman Caesar times, back in the military times. If you study military history, back in Napoleon Bonaparte times, France, back in English wars. I mean, we can go all the way back into AD, BC. There's been wars going back to the Word of God in the Bible when the children of Israelites had to fight against different Amalekites, Jebusites, Amorites, different tribes way back 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. So the reality war and the rumors of war, the Bible says that there will always be. So for us, there's going to always be a class of individuals that are willing to accept that call. And for me, when I accepted it in the 10th grade, I have to truly say I wasn't going to accept the call in order to go become a airborne ranger, special forces assassin. That was not my desire at all. I had never shot a weapon at all until I actually went to basic training. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, without any weapons or any hood or any neighborhood where I had to have a gun to go to school. Unfortunately, a lot of my African brothers who grow up in Baltimore and other parts of the United States where they see death every day. So it's almost like, sadly, for many of my brothers, and under the Deuteronomy 28 curse, they see a war like it's almost normal in Chirac, aka Chicago. They see war like it's almost, I hate to say it, worse than a soldier that's got a CIB, which is called a Combat Infantryman's Badge, and has been in Afghanistan, Persia, or Iraq, or Iran coming up. So the fact of the matter is, I pray, because I think the military is a great opportunity. But if you only think about it from the standpoint of death, or I may get killed, or I may have to kill somebody, That is the lowest level, and I really sadly want to say that is the last thing in your mind. Learning how to defend yourself, learn how to defend your family, learn how to defend your company, your platoon, your squad. That's maturity. That's part of life. There is the ethos, we call it, a code of ethics. There is a creed that we learn in the basic training, and that's pushed down through the drill sergeants, which you're about to see in a couple of seconds. And these men are phenomenal. And on my LinkedIn page, on my YouTube page, I talk about and I push drill sergeants so much because they were the individuals that touched my life. And to this day, I cannot say nothing but thank you, Drill Sergeant Simmons, which you're about to see in a couple of seconds. Because this drill sergeant was like my high school command sergeant major Henry L. Sellers, which I want to give a shout out to him because if it wasn't for me meeting that man, which became like a surrogate father to me, I know for a fact I would not be alive to this day. Let's go.
So he knows he can tag you. I'm gonna keep special eye on you. That's no joke. That's no joke. If you're he is before, so be it. We just gotta make sure you consume. Let's go.
There he is. Drill Sergeant Simmons. I never got his first name. To this day, I don't know. But I've never get his last name. This man, my God, I'm a 5'5" guy. And so I'm the same height as him. And I hate to say it, I've always been the shortest of everywhere I go. It's just a curse that I've hated all my life because my grandfather was 5'5", my dad was 5'5", my mom was 5'1", and it's just like everybody around me 5'8". The average height around the world is 5'8". All I wanted to be was average, just 5'8". My whole world would have been different. I just got 3 more inches, but God didn't give me that. So growing up, it was always a battle trying to fight because, you got to fight in high school. You got to fight against bullies. You got to learn how to stand up for yourself on the basketball court, and football, everything. And if you don't fight, they will pick on you, especially in my community. It was just unfortunately, a rite of passage that you got to know how to knuckle up. When I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, that's the place I was raised. I was not allowed by my mother to go out and box and get into a lot of different things because she made us latchkey kids. I'm the oldest of 2, and I was responsible for my younger brother named Damien. And so I had to grow up always thinking about Damien. Everywhere I go, where's Damien? Where's Damien? Where's Damien? That's the question she would always ask me. And it got to the point where I never could think about anything but my mom was going to always be mad, get on me if I don't look after my brother. So my whole life had always been thinking about him and always trying my best to lead him because we didn't have a father growing up. My father and mother divorced when I was young. I had to be about, at that age, probably about 7. And my brother was about 6. He's 2 years younger than me. It's a 5.5. We're about 18 months apart. And so I'm now 49 and he's now 47. He'll be 48 coming up in May. And today is March of 2023. So in 2 months, he'll be 48. But it's amazing how time goes by because I remember this experience I was 17 when I went to basic. You have to be at least 17 years old or a senior in high school. So fortunately, for one interesting experience, I turned 17 in the 11th grade, and I turned 18 in the 12th grade because my birthday was in October. So it always put me behind the curve. The school always starts in August every year. So there's that whole birthday when you're born, how that can affect you. But this man, his voice would boom, and I'm talking boom. And I couldn't understand it, but it was like I never heard a black man talk this way before. Not understanding there's a clue of school and not understanding at this time that drill sergeants went back to the 50s, that black men, praise the Lord, through Truman, got opportunities to serve as non-commissioned officers in the integrated army. They went through hell in World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam. And now here I am after 4 wars going into the military in 92. And this time, this was right after the first Gulf War, which should have went 15 years, but the first Bush let us leave in 10 days, not thinking that we'd be back. But everybody in the military said, we're coming back to this area. Guess what? 10 years later, to the point, 2001, boom, 9/11 happens. And we then in Afghanistan, and then we go right back to Iraq, and we're there for almost 20 years. So it just makes me wonder sometimes. I remember when I was an ROTC battalion commander, and I was the voted most likely to succeed in my senior class. A lot of people said, man, would you go to Iraq and fight in war? And I was like, heck yeah, they did. And they actually did a newspaper article on me in Inglewood High School. And this was a white high school that had black students, and we were about maybe 20% of the population. But it seemed like all the blacks that were 4 years before me, they all were ROTC. Not every black went into the military, but every black that I ended up following in ROTC, Derek Oliver, he was a battalion commander, 2 years older than me. And he was the mentor that I fell in love with, that I wanted to emulate, because he was like, really, in my opinion, he was like a big brother that I wish I had. And so he became a drill sergeant. Other men that became drill sergeants, all from my high school. And so it was experience, because I was blown away, because even though to this day, I never, ever, ever really got a chance to see Derek Oliver, but and here's Derek Oliver right here. And he's 50 years, so he's older than me by 2 years. But he's also a drill sergeant. And he's a phenomenal guy. This is him right here with his wife and his child. And I salute him, because this was the man that I wanted to be like growing up. He was the man that I wanted to be like. I pray for his son. His son is autistic. And I know that's got to be a bad battle, because right now there's so many. So he lives in Orlando, Florida, but he's from Jacksonville, Florida. And he was an S1, so he was in the Striker Brigade. He was actually even the Special Operations Command. He was Human Resources, so he actually became we call Adjutant General Corps, which is what I was in. He was also Adjutant General, but he stayed in, and he to this day he runs. To this day, he keeps himself in great shape. To this day, he is a phenomenal man. 14 miles. Look at that, brother. I mean, to this day, man. To this day. And this was a man that I remember so much, so vividly, way back in high school, at Inglewood High School. If it wasn't for him, and I don't know if I ever would have even joined the military. You can see he made the Sergeant First Class, and he was a phenomenal brother. And he was my battalion commander, my battalion brigade commander at high school in Jacksonville, Florida, Inglewood High School. And I would truly say that is what made me decide to go into the military. Well, he was one of these brothers that I can truly say. I did not get to know him, because back in those days, we just did not have a lot of, what's the word? We weren't really close in high school. They kind of separated us, man. If you're in high school, you're just like, first, 10th, 9th grade, you're nothing. And 11th, 12th graders, they talk about you, they treat you bad, and you just got to go through the process. This is them back in high school. This was their color guard right here. This is them. I have to say this. I have to acknowledge that. They could 12 rifles. They had amazing. This is Henry Lee Sellers, and all of them can twirl. And they both had color guard and drill team tabs and dress blues. Brian Craig Campbell, he is actually now pastor of a big church in Jacksonville, Florida. Calvin Bell, I don't remember where he's at. To this day, I don't remember where he's at. And then there's Derek Oliver. He had all the medals. He was a superior cadet. He was the guy I was like, I'm going to be him. I'm going to be him. And I thank God, man. And I'm blown away. I'm so glad that he has his photos. And back in those days in high school, it was like predominantly black before I came in. It was something, because they had an all black color guard, dog. Now, Henry L. Sellers This is the actual son of the command sergeant major of the JROTC that we all were under. And I'll show you Command Sergeant Major Sellers as soon. So a lot is this is them overseas. A lot is amazing because it was hard because of the fact that there he is, drill sergeant. He became drill sergeant, 3rd ID, and I'm blown away because of the fact that he definitely was a man that, just like Drill Sergeant Simmons, I can only imagine. I saw him as being an officer. I really thought he was going to be back and be an officer and get his degree. But a lot of people, we all enlist, and a lot of us are not fortunate enough to go to get commissioned. But I say he could have been a phenomenal captain, a phenomenal major. But it's one of those things where if you go enlist, a lot of times you don't leave and you don't transition out or go into the commissioning world. We are not close, but I definitely want to say I thank God for him because I was not a person that I could not be where I was if it weren't for men like him. So shout out to Derek Oliver Sr. and his son, and I pray for blessings and healing and power for God for him. So that leads me back to our video.
Hey, Elo, right there.
That was another drill sergeant, tall, 6'5" guy. He was in my platoon. He was one of the second. It was him. Those two are my drill sergeants in my platoon. This is our platoon right here. And we had another drill sergeant who was a Marine DI who switched from the Marines to basic. So we got a senior DI who's a Marine, but then we got 2 other DIs. There's always 3 drill sergeants to every platoon. And my God, I was like, when I heard this guy was a Marine and then he switched to Army and that Marine was harder, I was like, oh God, we got smoked, boy. That's Drill Sergeant Simmons. That's me right there. That short guy, shorter than everybody else, that was me. I know myself. I haven't seen myself in years, but that was me. I have to take a snapshot because I didn't realize when they did this video, it was like for all of us to get a picture of ourselves at the very beginning, and they don't really give you a picture at the end. At the end, it's the whole unit. So you don't see the transition from when you first came in, but they all gave us a little shot of us getting up the stairs in this brigade right off of Sand Hill. That was the name of the area of Fort Jackson, Sand Hill, or Drag Ass Hill, otherwise known as. Let's go. Wow. Amazing, amazing. Wow. Like I said, I always had to battle. If I was 5'9", 5'10", I would be gravy. I have my book to this day of all of the people in our unit and our platoon, and I'll show you the photos later.
During drill and ceremony, we learned the basics of marching, saluting, and movement with the M16 rifle. This was the first part of our Army training, and we had many hours of practice. We could do right face and left face without even thinking. Learning the rifle movements was more difficult than marching. We practiced column right, column left, and counter columns. We thought we would never make a mistake again. Each platoon was sure they would be the winner of the drill competition.
there I am again. They had us all, and they did this weird stuff while going back, remembering all this. This drilling ceremonies time, okay? We're talking, this is 1992 June, hot Columbia day, probably about at least 11 o'clock. And at this time, we definitely in the red phase. It's 3 phases, red, white, and blue. Red phase, man, the drill sergeant's on you hard. You getting smoked. You probably doing literally from 5 a.m. to about 9 p.m. you are up, 5 to 9. So your whole time, and then from 9 o'clock sleep until 5 o'clock, you got 2-hour shifts on fire guard duty. So you may do fire guard 4 times in 8 weeks because everybody has to go from 9 to 11, 11 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and then it's right up. So within a particular day, there's 4 people do a shift. And so if you got, a platoon of 40, 50 people, and it's 4 people per day, and you're in training for at least 8 weeks, 8 times 7, that's 56 days. So you really, I did fire guard 4 times, and I thank God for fire guard, but it's the worst time is do 2 p.m., 2 a.m. shifts. You just getting sleep and someone taps you and it's like, get up, fire guard. And so you got to be up for 2 hours, then you got to go back to sleep and go get into sleep and then get right back up at 5 so that you can beat the drill sergeants when they hit at 6, because they got the cans, the big old 40, 30 gallon tin cans, pop, 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 pop. And if you were late, if you ain't up before they get in there, oh, you getting smoked. We actually beat the drill sergeants getting in, bruh. So when the drill sergeants come in, man, and it's just like Full Metal Jacket. When the drill sergeants come in, you are like, I'm ready. And to the point where we used to sleep on our actual bunks. We didn't actually get under the covers. So when that drill sergeant come in, and he looks in like that, and we right there, this Marines, but Army was the same way. And our senior drill sergeant was a Marine that switched to Army. So he looked and acted just like Gunnery Sergeant Hartman here from Full Metal Jacket. Shout out to Lee Emery, the best drill sergeant of all time. I mean, he is immortal. He's going to glory. But every Marine wants to be like him, and every Army soldier wants to be like him, regardless of the branch. Those are the 2 branches that are, we call us ground pounders. We call us grunts. And that's just the foundation of both branches. The Marine Corps, the shock, we're the all. They're meaning that they're the ones that go in first as shock troops, with the Army rolls in the end, and we occupy. And so when we get that experience of being in that that fire guard guy, and it's like you have to know your certain commands. When he starts to speak, your behind is serious. So when I think about these days today, and I think about where the military is going, they got to go back, and I'm sorry, we got to have presidents that are military. We cannot be, we serve the civilians, yes, but for the safety of the military and the Department of Defense, and for us to be able to fight the wars tomorrow that we're not even knowing about, that are being planned right now. It's going to take the blood of young men. It's going to take the guts of young men and women. And if that only starts from great leaders, a.k.a. drill sergeants, those are the people that you thank God for at age 19 through 35. But there's even I heard a 54-year-old man went back to basic training, but he already went in the 70s, and he then went back to go into it with his own son. I mean, I would love to go back to basic training, man. I'm 49, but Lord, I at the same time, I really know I would not want to go back to basic training. Not the way it is today. The way the basic training is today, I'm sorry, it is too easy. And every generation says that about the future generation. But if you go back, and that's why I say to everyone who watches this, start studying the history of the military. It was much harder in the 50s compared to the 70s. Every generation seems to get much easier. Just study the videos. YouTube has got great content on military, and I thank God they do. And because they do have that great content, you will never, ever, ever be able to say you don't know. Because when I went to base training, they did not have these type of videos. We had to watch Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, Apocalypse Now to get a glimpse of what we thought the military was like. And then we get into the military and we experience the drill sergeants, these men, calling us names, and we got to sit there and we got to take it, and we got to stand in there. And we couldn't move at attention, and we got to take it, and literally talking scolding heat, not this indoor arena, but when the bugs around you and when the gnats are flying in your face, and if you move, your behind is doing 100 push-ups, and nobody wants to be smoked, even though it gets you built. It's just the fact is peer pressure. You don't want to look bad in front of your battle buddies. If you get smoked, then they think you're weak, and if you're weak, then you are not a part of the team, and they ostracize you. It's just the way it is. It's just part of the military. So let me show you who the individuals of my company were that were just transformative in my life. So this is our basic training, and we're going to see some video. We're going to see some sections of this, and let's get into it before we go and let you see that. Then I'll come back and show you the different sections. In a few seconds, you're gonna see me. I was in this video like 4 times, and I don't know why, because I'm nobody.
The weapon approximately 45-degree angle across the body, 4 to 6 inches from the waist. The gap right in here.
You heard what it said? 8 more weeks and we'll be through. I'll be glad and so will you. Sound off. 1, 2, sound off. 3, 4. Break it on down now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our God out there. This definitely was red phase week 1. We didn't know nothing. We knew a couple cadences because that drill sergeant over here to the right called out that cadence. And of course, I learned that at ROTC under my command sergeant major. So a lot of cadences, and there were cadence tapes back in those days. We had cassette tapes and all the 82nd Airborne cadences. You know, I would be an airborne ranger, live the life of blood and danger. I mean, we learned all these prior. I know I did. As I ran jogging, I'm listening to them on my cassette, jogging to the cadences, and that's what the cadences were for jogging. And it's amazing hearing those cadences. But we look like crap right now. I'm sorry, but this is based. This is 92 at the very beginning. So for our company and our platoon, you know it. Notice that the guy at the very front, that was, let me show you again, it was the tallest one of our tall guys. They order you by height. So what happens is, and this is something that we didn't learn about, they take the tallest people and they always put them as the squad leader. And if you notice closely, everybody is kind of going down by height. And so as the platoon is walking by, you'll notice the height goes down like a triangle in a decreased slope. So I'm way in the back because I want the shortest people. Okay? Just want to let you know about it. Some of y'all may not know. See, it's going down. Now, interestingly, it kind of went down and it kind of started getting tall again, which is very weird. So the drill sergeants didn't do a good job of putting these people in front because the shortest people always should be the farther in the rear. And that's just in parades, only in parades, which is like what this is. And I'm in the middle. You can't even see me because I'm one of the short guys. And so they put all the short guys kind of in the middle, kind of hovering, and you can't see me. But it passed me, and in a second you're going to see me in the middle coming up. I want to just show you the guy that we saw earlier that was walking with his hand behind his back. He didn't know the difference between how to walk versus how to go to parade rest. He became the squad leader. We were called Warriors. That was our platoon name.
Here we go again. Same old stuff again. Same old stuff again.
And of course, but we used to say same old it again. We changed it to same old stuff via PG.
Marching down the avenue.
There he is, right here. As you can see, tall as everybody. He was one of the tallest guys in our platoon. He was the same guy that was maybe a week earlier was walking around, and he was walking with his hands behind his back like he was in parade rest. You don't walk in parade rest. But it's so funny to remember that, man, of all these years. And there I am, right there. As you can see, one of the shortest guys. Thank God my cover looked pretty good. That nice little curve on my brim. And I wanted to have that Ranger style fold on the hat, but we couldn't do that because you had to be Ranger to have that. So we had to be the regular cap way. And all my desire was I wanted to go to Ranger school. I wanted to be an airborne Ranger. Just love about airplanes, be a Ranger. And like I said, if I was 5'10" or higher, man, oh hell, oh salapaka, I sure will. But I was a great marksman. I still qualify on the range, and I could take targets 300 yards. But man, I just did not get a chance to go to Ranger school. I did rappel. I mastered rappelling, but I did not master quote unquote. I didn't get a chance to go to Ranger school. I became a lieutenant, but that was one of the things. At that time, I didn't really want to be infantry because I was scared, man. I was scared of the man I'd become and what would happen to me after I killed somebody. And that was something that, growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, I never ever had saw a dead body until I saw my mom's dead body. We found her in the bedroom in March the 9th, 2001, 23 years ago yesterday. But that's the first time. And so when you first see someone that you killed go from life to death, it transforms you. You know, and I've seen death many times now since, but the very first time is always the most shocking that you never forget. That guy right there, outstanding. And it's so weird how they knew this. He became the honor grad. That dude was high speed. To this day, I found him online. With friends on Facebook. I don't know how the camera knew, but it's almost as if they knew who to pick, and they were like, "We're gonna focus on these guys," because that guy was up. You can just tell the guy had military bear, and the guy to the right was one of my battle buddies, black guy right there. I remember him, but I have not seen him in years. But I swear to God, this guy, I found him online. One of my battle buddies on Facebook reached out to me, and I looked at the book, and I went into the book, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And fortunately, thank God, I have this. And fortunately, I was able to go into the albums and look up him. But I swear to God, I totally forgot about him. But then when I saw the video back in 2018 of this, I couldn't express how amazing to see people from way back then. Because I just was like, you go to basic, you meet these people, you put into this pot of intense training for 8 weeks, now 12, and then you don't see them again. You know, and we were high school. Most of us in that platoon were either in their high school senior year, and then we had half were actually high school grads. And we all went our separate ways. Sometimes I wish I could have just went after high school, because then I could have really, really went right to AIT with him and really built bonds. But, you know, a lot of the times you just never, ever see them again. And you kind of wonder what happened to them. You know, what happened to them? How outstanding. Amazing. Plus, he was 5 foot, about 10. Ooh, perfect height. Now, if you notice closely, they changed the guidon bearer. Watch this. They had a young white guy with carrying we call the guidon flag. That's the honor graduate right now, and that changes throughout the whole cycle. So basically, the best person in the platoon carries the guidon, And at the end of the day, that best person gets what's called the honor graduate title of basic. And of course, you got to be 2 or 3 generations, man. And it is about your legacy. See how they had me and the guy behind me was tall? His mind should have been in front of me. So I don't know how they organized it. We all short guys should have been way, way in the back. He should have been way in front of us because he was taller. But that's for actual parades. Look at it. Perfect hat. So now look at the guidon bear. It switched. Now this is a little later. If you notice, we're carrying our weapons and against us on the side. So this is a couple of weeks later. We are now more precise, more endeared, more connected, and we got a new guidon. So he's the honor graduate right now. And notice we're carrying the sling arms. But there's going to be one person that you probably missed if you saw the march. Here comes me. I want you to look to the left and notice everybody's in sling arms except one white guy who was on the right side of me. He was important. Watch this. Sling, sling, sling. Look at that. This guy's important. He totally didn't know he needed a command. Everybody else is sling arms and he important. So what the heck is going on here? I don't know, but no drill sergeant got on his mind. The drill sergeant would have destroyed him. I'm serious. Cussed him out. Everybody in the mama's in sling. How are you in port? We do march in port, but we all we have to be in the same position at the same time. That was always something that got me every time I saw that. Sling, sling, sling. Everybody in sling. New got on. I told you, I'm not sure who that brother's name is, but he looked sharp. That's another drill sergeant, Puerto Rican drill sergeant. He was also outstanding. Don't remember his name, but I have the book of everybody in the platoon, and I will show you that in a second. Wow, I gotta find his name. I know he was Hispanic. Now, that's where I get goosebumps. The spirit of the bayonet. You'll learn about that drill outside school. What is a spirit of the bayonet? Spirit of bayonet is a kill. It's the first time in my life I ever thought about stabbing somebody and killing them. But every soldier has to go through this. And of course, a lot of guys go support and they never ever think about this. Only those that are infantry. But the spirit of the bayonet was and is to kill. And the spirit of the bayonet, we had to practice. And for some amazing reason, they videotaped me for like a minute. Out of all these, we had at least 400 people in this area, the whole company. Like I said, there's 4 platoons to a company, and each platoon has 50 soldiers. So that's 50 times 4. That's 200 people. And I don't know how they picked me, but they swear to God, they picked this short guy. You'll see this short guy practicing with his battle buddy.
At bayonet training, we learned offensive and defensive maneuvers with the bayonet. We had to think of the tire dummies as our enemy as we practiced our moves. Thrust, butt stroke, slash, stab, and withdraw.
There I am.
A sequence of moves we needed to remember when working with the bayonet.
There I am right there. I don't know why, but that's me to the left. I'm that guy that's my battle buddy. We both like 5'5", and I swear to God, we on the corner edge. They don't put us in the middle where nobody would come. I'm on the corner edge, and boy, this is the first time I ever looked at a man like I wanted to kill him. It was the first time in my mind I was like, I could kill this man. and literally the anger and the rage and the spirit of the bayonet, it came into us, man. And then we're gonna go through an assault course, and boy, I stabbed those things like they were somebody, like it was a human being. Literally, it became so second nature to me that I could do it and not even think about it. I think about it later, But in that moment, kill, kill, kill. And we had to always say, kill. I mean, we had to say that. It was wild, man. They came back to me twice. All those people, they got the big camera that's on a crane, and they got another guy that's sitting over there on a corner with a camera. So they had the camera on 4 different parts of this big pit. As you can see, that beautiful headshot, that beautiful crane shot right there. But they stayed on me and this guy to this day. I don't even know who that guy was that I was doing the training with. To this day, I don't know. I don't remember who he was. I'm still looking through my album to see who he was. And I'm trying to find my album right now because for some reason I don't see my album online here. I'm looking through my album, but I will find it, God willing. God willing. Glory to God. Keep going. The command he called was Whirl, W-H-I-R-L, Whirl, which means turn around. Whirl. I mean, these commands, I'm like, remember them. I haven't said them in years, but compared to the Marine Corps, I would say Marines are much more harder. The drill sergeants are much easier. I'm not going to lie. Even 92, man, we had some cake drill sergeants. I wish it was harder. I actually love the fact that our senior drill was a Marine, but he was so busy doing senior drill stuff that we only saw him later on for, inspections. The regular dogs, the regular pit, they call them pits, pit bulls or DIs or drills. Some people call them, they're called drill sergeant. We would call them drill for short. They were like, really, I hate to say it, but they were nice. They were really nice. We did have one person in Opportune that did get a blanket party, but other than that, everybody else was outstanding. No question about it. And what is a blanket party or code red? Watch the movie Watch the movie Few Good Men, which came out the same year I graduated from high school, 1993. And that is Colonel Jessup and Tom Cruise and Demi Moore. That classic movie, it was perfectly placed in my lifetime because it was right when I was going to basic and AIT. And I was like, I do not want me a blanket party. I don't want me a full metal jacket blanket party or a code red from a few good men. But the bottom line, they happened.
Pugil stick training enhanced our bayonet skills. We used the Pugil stick as if it were a bayonet on a rifle. It was a good thing the drill sergeants were around to referee the matches because we actually had to hit our opponents. We had a chance to let go of our frustrations during this part of training, but we didn't hold any grudges against our partners.
That's called the spirit of the bayonet. That was the first time in my life I wanted to kill somebody, though. And I mean, thank God we had football helmets on. And they match you up by height and weight, so you don't battle somebody that's two times your size. But boy, it is crazy. Platoons battled each other, and it was so you got 4 platoons. Everybody is within their own platoon fighting against another platoon, so it creates this rivalry that's just amazing. We call it esprit de corps. It creates it. It's just like, oh my God. And of course, they're always the best. There's one out of every platoon, and whoever that best person out of platoon, Alpha, Bravo, first, second, third, fourth, they fight each other to get the winner. Ooh, that was a good hit. That was a good hit. You heard that? Saw that hit in the head? Man, with a knife, he would have killed that guy. Good block. Good block. Good block. He's blocking. He's blocking, but he's going backwards. So really, he's in trouble. Oh, good hit. Oh, not. Oh, good hit. Oh, that was almost a good hit there. Good job. Oh, nice hit there. Nice hit there. Oh, that was good. Oh my God, that was a good stroke down. Oh my God. Even I saw that. Yeah, I mean, he pointed at me. Even saw it. We all saw that. Oh, what a hit there. Oh, wow. He went. This is a short guy, boy. He waits no time. He charged up. He said, I'm going to come in there and hit your hard, boy. Man, I'm telling you, this right here made you want to be a killer, boy. It put that warrior ethos in you, man. You be like, chop up. If you were somebody that was enemy, you're a dead man. Oh, what a hit there. Oh, he just got that dude. He got him so many times. Yeah, everybody mama saw that. That's Drill Sergeant Simmons right there. I'm not sure who that drill sergeant was. That's not mine. I would recognize him like a heart attack. Oh, what a move. Oh man, what a move. Woo. Oh, everybody mama saw that. Well, everybody mama saw that. Yeah. I'm not sure what platoon they were from. I don't know who that guy was. Oh. He said no kissing. No kissing. Oh, that's it. I like how they slowed it down, man. That's great because we can slow it down. I can slow mine down as well, even slower, to get some real good shots. Let's do that. Let's wind it back and let's slow it down, man, and really get some really good shots. So we're gonna slow it down to 50% even slower than what they did. So you get to kind of really see. Like I said, this is something that I think every American needs to learn how to do. Pugil sticks. Here we go. Oh, 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 wow. Oh, nice. Oh, got him there. Oh, he got him there. Where's my page? Thank you. How did I not say that? So that was actually slower, which was great because you got to see the real battle. So now we get ready to go to the actual confidence course. Here it comes, boy. Though I would say the hardest part of basic training was this: rut marching, none. That was easy. Heights, heights, man.
One of the most exciting experiences of our training was Victory Tower. 25 feet above the ground, we had to negotiate up a 3-rope bridge, slide down a 1-rope bridge, and climb up again on a 2-rope bridge. Once we got the feel of the ropes, it wasn't too bad, and the safety nets took away a lot of the fear. Our drill sergeant showed us how to tie a Swiss seat, and it was a challenge for all of us to rappel down a 40-foot wall. The tower taught us confidence, aggressiveness, and teamwork. The phrase, "be all you can be," went through our minds many times.
Be all you can be.
It took all our concentration and strength to complete this event.
Yes, your sergeant. Hey, get your tongue in your mouth. Yes, your sergeant.
I'm gonna tell you something. Your break hand gets the death grip. That's the hand that's behind you that you put in the small of your back. That's your break hand, and the other hand is your guide hand. And you got these really cheap gloves that are sorry. They're made out of wool leather. Man, them things get so hot because you going down a 40-foot wall so fast. All you hear is, I mean, and boy, some of us guys, we would speed down that wall, man. And I tell you, I fell in love with rappelling. That's when I said I knew I wanted to go to airborne school and wanted to go to ranger school. I was like, I want to be a ranger, man. So I went to ROTC advanced camp and I became a Ranger Challenge, which was like ranger competition for the cadets. And you know, and then but unfortunately, I went and got a commission adjutant general corps, which was my I would call undergrad. No, my I was enlisted in AG. And I didn't understand human resources and the benefit of human resources back then. I thought it was like cake because it wasn't infantry. Everybody wanted to be, blue. They wanted to be infantry. Follow me. It's the whole Army mantra of infantry, infantry. Of course, looking back on it now, I'm sorry, that's stupid. You infantry or you a soldier, regardless of what branch you're in. And thank God, now I'm in cybersecurity, now I'm in signal, and I'm in computer science. And that's phenomenal. They pay well, $200,000 a year, and I'm alive, and I ain't worried about bullets, wounds, and stuff like that. So, ignorance when you don't have older mentors in your life is dangerous. That's why I really encourage you to talk to those that are in your 50s, or they are in their 50s, and learn about military from that perspective, not just from what is being told to you by your recruiter. He said lane one on belay. That means the person is holding the rope and at the bottom saying, I'm ready for the next guy to come down. So lane one on rappel means that's the guy that's rappelling down right there. And then belay is the guy that's holding the rope. And when you first started, you have someone down there. So just in case you're stupid and you don't let go, they can pull the rope and lock you and lock you in place. So that saves your life. Later on, you'll do it without nobody on belay. But at least thank God at the very beginning, you got somebody helping you to build your confidence up. Boom. See how hot it was? See how hot it was? He's like, woo! Because he was going down, boy. I can't say we had anybody that was scared. I love this shot where he just did a circle for the tall guy. But look at it, he's like, it's hot. He's like, it's hot. We all had to do the drop and roll. Or come down the rope. And I didn't realize that this is the same thing Marines do. And when they get off of carriers and stuff, so we were doing the same thing. We never in our life thought we'd be coming down ropes like this, but you do. especially in Ranger units and our Army infantry units going up mountains. We had to fall. We had to fall on our back. We could never let our feet touch the mat. You had to land on your back and then roll off, and then roll off. Can't believe I remember all this stuff. It's been 30 years. And that's me right there. I couldn't believe they got me again. I'm like, Lord, I know me. I was one of the shortest guys, man. And out of everybody was taller than me, and I stood out. I was short as hell. So how they get me out all these doggone people in the unit? There's at least 200 people out there right there, boss. At least 200 people out there, boss.
We learned how to react properly to the dangers of nuclear, biological, and chemical attacks in NBC training, putting on the M17A1 protective mask, entering the chamber, and feeling the effects of the CS gas made us aware of what a real attack could be like and how we would have to prepare for it. We only spent 2 minutes in the chamber, but it seemed much longer once the protective seals on the masks were broken. Before we could exit the chamber, the mask had to be cleared and resealed. Even the drill sergeant suffered from the effects of the gas when the chamber doors opened. If we kept our hands up, we recovered more rapidly from the effects of the gas. This was one event we did not want to repeat, and the smell of the CS gas is one we'll never forget.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, you look at the guys coming out, man, they don't have no snot. We had snot coming out our nose, man. It was nasty. These guys look like they hurt it all. Come on. Wasn't that bad. Man, look at it. Come on. All right, maybe, yeah, this guy. Yeah, all right, brother. That's what I'm talking about. See, he like, no big deal, because it was easy for them. They were nice to us. They could have made it really hard. We could have been in there we could have been there throwing up and puking them. That was the first female drill sergeant I ever heard that there. Everybody was male except that one. And now, there's female drill sergeants everywhere. But back in 92, it was like, no drill sergeant, yes drill sergeant, and it's always a male. And that female, I'm like, oh. One thing I can truly say about the military, there was more integration and more minorities I saw in the military than I ever seen in real life. And that's obvious, right? 1% of the population, that's what? 3.7 million served in any 1 year out of 375 million in the United States. And within that 1% that served, there is a higher percentage of African Americans that are serving. I'd say 30 to 40% of that 1%. I saw drill sergeants, blacks. I mean, it was awesome. I now understand what they were doing. They were basically videotaping everybody so you can come back 30 years later and find yourself. But I never saw me. I never saw me. There we go. Yeah, too easy, drill sergeant. Too easy. That's what we used to say. That we said that was a line we always say. Too easy, drill sergeant. Too easy. Oh, that's funny. I remember that.
Come on, gotta go get on your gear.
Too easy, son. Too easy. All right. All right, man. This is for everybody to see if you were in there. Since only my battle buddies that got copies of this video. Now we get to the best part. We get to the BRM, man. There we go, baby. Shooting. I became a marksman. It's the first time I ever shot a weapon in my entire life. So to go from never shooting a weapon to shooting M16, I wish to God I had a father that took me hunting, but he was never there. He left us when I was 5. And I didn't shoot my grandfather because by this time, he was 80 because my grandfather was 6 years older than me and I was 17. So he would have been about, I'm sorry, 7. He would have been about 77, 70. And so he wasn't shooting no weapons no more.
Everyone wanted to be a Hawkeye and hit all 40 targets during basic rifle marksmanship, but shooting the M16 rifle in full combat gear was tough. We shot 40 rounds from distances of 50 to 300 meters. 20 were shot from a foxhole and 20 from a prone position. To be classified as an expert, we had to hit between 36 to 40 targets. A sharpshooter hits between 30 and 35 targets. And if 23 to 29 targets were hit, we were a marksman. Breathe, relax, aim, center mass, then squeeze the trigger. Those are the terms to remember to be successful. After BRM, we understood the difference between a rifle and a gun. Once the qualification badges were given out, we knew that graduation was getting closer and that each part of the training was important.
You notice at this moment in the cycle, you don't even care about the cameras. You're so focused and dialed in on your battle buddy, or you get ready to shoot. You want to qualify. You forget the cameras are there. At this time, I hate to say it, I don't remember being on cameras. I do not. So when I see guys, I'm like, I see the same. They were so dialed in, man. They were dialed in. We're like in the middle of the cycle. We're week 4. That was one of my colleagues right there. He was a private first class too. And there was only so many of us, man. There was only so many of us. Everybody was in there was privates. And so to be a private first class, you had to have at least 3 years of military. And you could tell, man, he had that. He was good. He was calm. I mean, you could tell he wasn't. I mean, he was calm, man. His eyes was like, I am there, dude. I am there. I am there. And I don't know what happened to that brother. I remember you. I'm gonna show you my magazine, my book in a minute, with all of my boys from my platoon. Sorry about that. The VHS cassette. Someone recorded this, uploaded to their channel. I have downloaded it and I've uploaded it to my own channel. And this video will be uploaded to my own channel as a reaction to this video because I was in that company at that time. And everyone's uploading videos and talking about theirs. Why can't I talk about my feelings and my other experience? Sorry. Kill that roaster. He got a 33. Darn, man. That's a sharpshooter. 23 is a marksman. 33 is a sharpshooter. 40 is an expert. Whew, I tell you, that's my ultimate goal. Keep shooting. Thank God that we never had our weapons with us. When we went through basic training, because what happened in the movie Platoon, I mean, the movie Full Metal Jacket, we never kept our weapons with us. The Marines, they do, but they lock their weapons against the wall with a lock. So you had to, there's no way you could get your weapon and take it into your bed, into the bathroom and shoot your drill sergeant. Because there are moments, man, where you definitely wanted to kill your drill sergeant. I mean, there are moments where I hated drill sergeant Simmons, swear to God. It wasn't until years later I forgave that guy. That's how hard it was. I hated that dude, man. I mean, he smoked us so bad, dude. And we didn't understand the why until later. This was my other good battle buddy. This guy was 6'3". Oh my God, brother, man, that's another brother. He was my platoon. He was definitely in my platoon. This was my platoon. I remember this guy. Oh my God, I want to be just like this guy. I want to have his height. I want to have his strength. He was so phenomenal. You can see how he towers over everybody, man. This guy, I gotta look him up. He's African American. I mean, towered over everybody. He was a marksman. I was a marksman too. My first time I qualified as a marksman. Like I said, first time ever shooting a weapon. First time ever smelling cordites. First time ever feeling the recoil. And this was our captain. It's the first time we saw an officer at that moment, and knowing what I know now, captain's important, but the only difference was 5, 7, or 8 more years and having a college degree. That's the only difference. But when you are not from a family of military, you don't even know. You just know that's the officer. Don't mess with him. Don't get in trouble. But it's almost amazing because the officers are like the managers and the enlisted are like the workers, and it's a different way of acting. NCOs, they normally don't switch from NCO to officer, and if they do, they do what's called green to gold, and that's what I did. Most of the time, it's like if you go enlisted, you want to stay enlisted. And if you ever say to an enlisted soldier, "Hello, sir," he goes, "Sir? What are you calling the sir? I work for a living." I was like, "Oh, okay." You're saying that they don't work for? I mean, in the Army, that's huge. The Marine Corps, you call everybody a sir, and I wish the Army did that because when you tell a private, "Don't call me sir, call me sergeant," it does put a level of respect on the sergeant rank, but overall, it puts a level of disrespect on the branch. Whereas in the Marine Corps, everybody is called sir at the beginning. And then you earn the title gunnery sarge. And so you don't call somebody sarge, corporal until you finally became a Marine. Whereas we're not even Army soldiers yet. We haven't finished. We're still in the actual quote unquote beginning. So we should have never called anybody sarge. You need to earn that. You need to be a soldier. I love the Marine Corps mantra. And once a Marine, always a Marine. Well, we don't say once a soldier, always a soldier. Once we start going and looking at the history of the Army, because the Marines 275 years, Army's 275 years. Once we start breaking that down, man, we get that esprit de corps, we can change the Army. Because where the Army's going right now, into this whole LGBTQRS BS, into this weak, soft, they're having a problem recruiting right now. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this video. They're having a problem recruiting right now. And there was no problem in 92. And that was after the first war in Iraq. But there was no problems in the 80s. We had, the amazing movie called Officer and a Gentleman. But it has been problems in the 2000s. And that was Afghanistan and Iraq. And the way that was managed, unfortunately, and has been because President Second Bush lied. It'd have been different if there was no lie about weapons of mass. If we were legitimately and we were attacked, but there was no reason for us to go into Iraq when the issues came out of Afghanistan. Now, we only stayed in Afghanistan and we fought that war like we were supposed to. We never touched Iraq. People looked at President Bush II as with respect, but to this day, his presidency is destroyed because not only did he have 9/11, but he got judged by God by having a mortgage-backed security crisis. So God has a way of judging presidents when they do wrong by bringing more crap into the earth on their watch. That's why we look at President Obama. He don't have that tarnish on his for eight years. Look at Trump, tarnish. Biden, tarnish. Actions you do, man, even at the highest level of the command, aka the president, Satan, God, Yah, will judge you despite the level of dread. And the judgment will be on the blood of these young men going and fighting and dying for the flag. So this is the really, I hate to say it, this is what the Marines would call the emblem and flag ceremony. And it was at the last time or right before, that is when you officially become a Marine. And as I study Marine Corps videos, I study them every day, and I study Army videos, I can truly say the Marines won the battle of esprit de corps. That's why they may be the smallest branch, but they're the most disciplined for the rest of their life. Once they've been through basic, they never lose that Marine desire. They never lose that Marine passion. Army, people lose it every day. They go through basic, and then now they want a shaving profile. They want to wear beards. They want to do. They want to be, talking about. It's just sick. Sometimes I watch Army training, and it's like sick. And that's why I watch you. I go back to watch my experience because I'm going. When I'm a young little 19, 18-year-old kid, 17 at this time, you're a kid going through this. You think it's the hardest thing in the world, but when you don't see other branches, you realize, hey, it was simple. Compared to other branches, what we went to was simple, man. I mean, just look at how the men are acting. They're looking at their badge, but they're not fully soldiers yet. We haven't earned the title. Now, finally, the Army is doing a little event now where they have like a sit around and a bonfire, and they do it like the Eagle Globe and Anchor ceremony that Marine Corps people do. When the Marines do the Eagle Globe and Anchor ceremony, it's on the last of their 58-hour crucible. We had a crucible as well, where we did a 12-mile ruck march and stuff like that. But even at the end of that 12-mile ruck march, we didn't have a star ceremony. I don't know what we would call for the Army. They call theirs Eagle Globe and Anchor. On us, we probably call it U.S. Army. I don't know. What is our emblem? I got to think about that. What is the emblem of the Army? Other than that, they just did a new brand out just recently as of yesterday. And so now they got a new model, which I'm really proud of, with a new actor who is going to be the next Denzel Washington, named Jonathan Majors. He played he's played in a couple of military movies, but he's going to be the next Denzel Washington. If you ever seen the movie Glory in 1989, that was the movie that took me over and made me decide to enlist. And that was when Denzel Washington played a soldier in the 54th Massachusetts Regiment and died with a white officer in Sumter, South Carolina in the Civil War. It was one of the big losses of the North in the Civil War, but we won the war. And it was the first African Americans from the North going to the South to fight against the South. Thank you, Lord. That's what opened the door to break slavery off of our backs. Saw that? He goes, he was not even looking at him. I mean, this is the captain. And the guy was looking down. He goes, huh? You got to look at me. I mean, the guy didn't understand who rank. Now, why would he not look at the captain? That's the difference in the Army versus the Marines. Marine Corps would have had that dude doing push-ups. He would be fucking locked, stock, and barrel, scared itless. When a lieutenant, much less a general, comes around, you wouldn't even know what to do if a general came around. You'd be like, oh my God, a general. Woo!
Better you know what targets you missed, right?
So the question was, you know what target you missed on the rifle range? And this is the first time we even see this captain. No, and then last time we see him is at graduation. Don't even remember his name.
The night infiltration course was spectacular. The mission was to maneuver the 200-meter obstacle course with live ammunition going off within 5 feet of us. Training at night was a new experience, and the overhead machine gun fire made us feel like we were in a combat situation.
The reality is those shots were about 8 feet above us. We wouldn't look it up. That's the one thing about it. We would not look it up. This was at nighttime, and we're talking pitch black. They're using infrared. And so it looks like it's the evening, but that was infrared. And boy, everybody and mom was scared of this moment because we thought, man, we could be killed. But we kept moving. There's a movie called Jarhead where the Marines did the exact same scenario. And for Hollywood purposes, the guy stood up and got shot. And Jamie Foxx played the drill sergeant. And Jamie Foxx yelled at the guy for dying, saying you were stupid. If you had just followed orders, you would still be alive, you dumb it. You know, of course, it was Hollywood. But the fact of the matter is, nobody dare stood up. Praise the Lord. Now, I don't know why it took so much time on this section. You don't know who, you can't see nobody's face. All you see is the body. But I guess in essence, it is simulating real combat. You are, simulating actual real war. So in our perspective, I guess for us that went through it, we can look back at this and say, man, we went through all that, But, and that was technically our crucible. That was technically our last, we call that the blue phase. You have red, bad, white, calm, medium, and blue. You're at the end. And this was our final chapter. And there was so many other events that we had to do first aid. We had to do splints. We had to do battle dressings. We had to do a whole bunch of things. But they're going to go over a little bit of that. And they get ready to go to the end now where they give out this amazing speech that forever changed my life. And I didn't really understand at the time until I got to Georgia Military College. Duty, Honor, Country. The actual speech by General Douglas MacArthur at West Point back in 1962, right before he died. I get goosebumps and I feel God's presence when I think about it. Amazing, amazing words. These 3 hollow words let you know who you ought to be, or what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. Oh, God, there are your rallying points. Oh, there are your rallying points. And what's a rally point? It's a point on a map where everybody rallies to. Oh, as an enlisted person, I didn't really understand that. And it wasn't preached to us. But going through 4 years of cadet training as senior ROTC, man, it was inculcated in our lives, man. And to this day, I listen to that speech to this day by the latest West Point band to do it, and it's phenomenal. And now, new cadets are graduating this year from Georgia Military College today, which will be marked for me in 1990 to 2005. Will be 30 years since I got my commission at GMC in 2 years, and I'm hoping to go to that reunion in 2025. That's in 2 years. And it's 2023, so I'm working hard to get myself there. Then all of a sudden, they just go there. They go right to the color guard and to the parade. Now, this was our kind of parade. We did a big time parade, but we're at Sling Arms, which don't make no sense. So they're marching color guard, and they're doing a present arms. Right, this is eyes right, present arms. Right there, you can't see them from the left. But right there is the brigade commander, and you see the flags. So this was an actual parade that we had. I don't remember this day. It went by so fast. It was obviously August. And you're going to hear in the background a guy emulating and reading a script to General Douglas MacArthur said to the West Point cadets in 1962 at West Point called Duty, Honor, Country. While we're at, I hate to say it, Sling Arms, and I think we're at Sling Arms. Yeah, we at Sling Arms. I don't get it. I don't know. They made us march at Sling Arms. But we look pretty good. And there's headquarters, and they launched the cannon, and this was us, and officially graduating. But we went on a drill. We had a speech on the parade field where our mom came, everybody came. They don't show that though. They don't show that, which is weird because they should have shown that, us being in our Class A uniforms on the parade field. They didn't show that. Duty, honor, country.
A code
of
of
conduct
and chivalry of those who guard this beloved land.
And it truly is a code of conduct and chivalry for those of us that guard this hallowed land. You're right about that.
An ideal so noble that it arouses a sense of pride.
Yes, it does.
And yet, humility.
Yes, it does.
An expression of the ethics of the American man-at-arms.
Total ethics. We also didn't show you land nav. This is our land nav section where we're doing land navigation. They skipped that too. First aid, land nav. We did claymores. We set up claymores. We threw grenades. Missed that too.
Duty, honor, country.
The bayonet assault course, we didn't show you that.
3 words build courage.
This guy had already had he going through basic training, but you notice on his shoulder, he had a dang unit patch on. I don't know how he got that unit patch. None of us had a unit patch in basic. Because we're in basic. You haven't earned that yet. So how does he get a unit patch? See that unit patch? He must be an actual teacher. He must be teaching us. Don't know how. The way that unit patch on the left-hand side of the unit, you already passed basic and AIT. Interesting.
Duty, honor, country. Those 3 words build courage when courage seems to fail. Regain faith when there seems to be...
I felt bad for him, man. He had big glasses on. Big, thick glasses. So he has some vision problems there.
Little cause for faith. Create hope when hope seems
forlorn.
The American man-at-arms, above all other people, prays for peace.
That's right, because we must bear the harsh realities of war.
For he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war.
That was a device that we had to put in the body's epinephrine. So if someone gets shot, you got to put an epinephrine into their leg in order to keep them alive. And that was the first aid, man. I'm telling you, things I forgot that we did back then. I'm like, oh my God, we did do that. I forgot about that. There is the pen. You see it? That's an epinephrine pen. And you would use that in order to help someone get shot. Because remember, we never saw till later, we never saw how a bullet can destroy human flesh and how it's the most, like he says, literally that last line, bear the realities and the scars of war. Yes, sir. Shout out to the epinephrine pen. It saved a lot of soldiers' lives, man. They lost their leg, lost a body part, but it's still with us. Thank God for that epinephrine pen. Thank you, Lord.
Duty, honor, country. The unbelievers will say they are but words, a slogan or a flamboyant phrase.
True.
Every demagogue, every cynic, and every hypocrite will try to downgrade them to the extent of mockery and ridicule.
And that's exactly what people do to this day. He was so right. General MacArthur was so right.
The code with which those words perpetuate embraces the highest moral law and will stand the test of any ethics or philosophies ever published.
Yeah, that Claymore trading, boy. That's right.
Uplift of mankind.
We had to fire those too. Those pellets come. Oh, sorry.
Around 1,000 campfires on 100 battlefields, listening for the witching melody of faint bugles blowing revelry. Far-off drums beating the long roll. This is the story of the American man-at-arms. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give.
That was pretty cool. They cut from us doing the obstacle course to that. Now I wish it was that right shoulder. Oh, that'd been outstanding if it was like that right, doing that right shoulder. I don't like this sling, man. That makes me angry. It looks good, but all of us, we all could have been at right shoulder. The drill, I hate to say, was not at the level that Full Metal Jacket. The Marines practice drills so much. Bow, bow, pat. Bow, bow, pat. Bow, bow, pat. Bow, bow, pat. I mean, they would do hours. And if we did the same way the Marines did it, you would get anybody to become a master at drill. I had 4 years of ROTC, 3 years before I went to basic. And I'm talking from drill team, actually drill team. Take that back. I had 2 years of drill team at that time because in 9th grade, I did ROTC, but I played football. So I didn't do drill team in my 9th grade year. I was with JV. But 2 years of drill team, and that's, Monday through Friday, from 3 o'clock to about 7, plus three competitions every year. And so that was 6 different drill team competitions. So, you practice a lot. My life was ROTC in high school. I mean, I do my regular classes, but it was get everything done so I can go to our drill team practice. And that was my football. That was my athletic year. That was my athletic sport, if that makes sense.
He has never failed us. Were he to do so, 1,000,000 ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country.
Oh, Jesus, I feel the presence of God. Hallelujah. That's right. That's right. That's right. All those people under the grave sites, their bodies are gone, but their spirits in heaven. They'll come back and yell at us if we don't honor and continue the oath that we pledged to the country. What blew me away was at the end of this, they're going to show myself on the ground doing the low crawl. Couldn't believe it. Again, 3 times. I'm nothing. I'm nobody in the platoon, Lord. I know I wasn't. I felt like nothing the whole time I was there. All I wanted to do was be the best I could be. But I still felt like nothing. And those drill sergeants made me feel like shit. Let me excuse my French. I'm sorry, they didn't even know. They didn't even say my name. My name was Private. What's up, Private? They wouldn't even say, they wouldn't put the T on it and be like, what's up, Pride? Pride. Okay. Give me 20, Pride. Oh, yes, Your Sergeant. And we dare not say sir. If we ever say sir, that's 50. That's 50 more. Now, that's the end. Now, let's go back and show you. Right here, they're doing drill. They're doing this section. Right here.
All that mortality can give, he has never failed us. Were he to do so, 1,000,000 ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words, duty, honor, country.
Let's go back. There's another section. I know I saw it. I gotta find it. Give me a second. Right here. I saw it recently.
Man at arms, his name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do...
Oh, that's interesting. In this video, swear to God, what I saw earlier, looks like I was edited out. Yeah. There's an edit. There was an edit. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This, yeah, military rifleman. Yeah. That's all right. That's okay. Well, let me show you what I mean as I finish this. This is screenshots from going to basic training. And this is the video we just saw. Way back in 2017 is when I got this video from a colleague of mine, one of my battle buddies. And I took some screenshots and I thought I had saved this and tagged myself. And it's me right there. I am tagged. But for some reason, I didn't put it into an album, so you could not see this in the album. So I'm going to have to save these and put them in the album. So let me do that quickly. Save the images because they need to be saved so that, years later, if anything happens to me, praise the Lord, I have my whole life on YouTube. People don't like talking about it in life, but, the thing about it is, the thing is, if somebody wants to come at me, I got a gun waiting on them. But the fact is, I am alive, I lived, and when I die, you will know I lived. So the bottom line is, for me, I do these videos because no one's going to speak my life for me but me. All right, so because even your closest family could hate your guts. Side eye. I saw that with my mama's side of the family. So if I seen it with my mother's aunts, I can see it with you, auntie. I can see it with anybody. All you could be evil at any moment in time. Satan can use you instantly. So I recognize this, and that's why I recognize I'm all alone in this life. But that is okay. I know who my Father God is. But the thing that I realized, here we go.
Far off drums beating the long roll. This is the story of the American man-at-arms. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do so, 1,000,000 ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words, duty, honor, country.
That's me. That is me. So the video we just saw earlier was a different video than the video that my platoon had. Not knowing this, but there were two different videos. There was a video that you see that this guy had from the same platoon, and they did the last part of saying duty, honor, country. And what happened was, instead of them showing me low crawling and mixing the American flag over me, I mean, fading the American flag in, they did us marching. I never knew that until today.
Mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do so, a million ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country.
So now you hear that. I'm like, but I remember years ago when I got mine, I see this the last 47 seconds of that same clip. Start over. Same clip.
Far off drums beating the long roll. This is the story of the American man-at-arms. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do so, a million ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country.
That was me. All of us had to do was call the low crawl. When I first saw myself on camera and I saw me on the ground, I said, that's me. You know yourself. If you ever see yourself on film, you just know you. From my nose to my body, I was a short guy, and I'm on that ground doing low crawl, and we had to go real slow. This could save our life, and this was literally pushed that to us. But to merge it into duty, honor, country, it was like, oh my God, and how God. I never remembered this. I didn't even hate to say it. I didn't even get the video when I graduated from basic. I just got the yearbook, which we'll go through in a second. But to actually get this and then just see that video just now and not see that last part lets me know there was multiple versions. And that's good. So I'm so glad to prove the truth and to prove out, my basic. And like I said, 1992, last year marked 30 years since we did basic training. And I can say advanced camp was simple, nothing compared to this. I'm so glad I went to basic. I think every officer should go through basic. Every officer will not, but I still say they should. And for all those that become officers that go to basic, I'm salute you. You will learn things if you go at the right time of the year. I want to say that correctly. You go at the right time of the year. But duty, honor, country, that should be also pushed. So now we have the slogan, be all you can be, coming back from 1986 today. And we're also going to bring back the slogan from 1962, duty, honor, country as well. And I'm grateful to God. So grateful. So grateful. And believe in the Lord that the Lord will bring out passion for everybody to follow those three hallowed words. Because they are. They are definitely hollow words. So what I'll do is watch that one more time because that is really what. That's what it was all about.
Far-off drums beating the long roll. This is the story of the American man-at-arms. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do so, a million ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country.
I don't know what 40 rounds was, but that was unique. Now, where did that come from? Well, that came from my battle buddy. My battle buddy reached out to me and let me watch the video. And when he did that, I had to save them. So way back in Columbia, South Carolina, way back in 2017, I uploaded this from our school. And this is me as a private E3 before we got our rank put on. That's at the end once you graduate. This is our picture at the beginning of the 8-week training. And they gave us jackets to put on and say, take a shot. I mean, it was really like not done well at all. And this is the shot I showed you earlier about the actual fight where we had to practice in the bed before bayonet assault course. And then I had some more pictures. And then from later on, this is my actual basic training locker that we had to keep clean. And as I zoom in, everything had to be perfectly ordered, organized as far as hangers. We had there's my rank PFC for my Class A uniform, as well as my Class B, Class C for cold gear. It was really, 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 really amazing. Socks, shoes. I wish I kept my house as clean as today like that back then. But it's been harsh. This is my battle buddy. His name was Michael Smith. He ended up becoming a sergeant first class in the United States Army Reserve. Did a full 20 years in Army Reserve, and he's married, and he has been serving his country. Phenomenal guy. He lives in Orlando, Florida. Him and his wife and kid. We hadn't seen each other than basic training, but we were battle buddies. Never seen each other since that time, but we all went our separate ways. But we never ever forgot who we were. He reached out to me. He's the guy who actually reached out to me, man. To remind me, I remembered you, Henry. I remembered you. And I mean, it's so many things we went through at that time. It was so many things. This is them in Fort Dix, New Jersey. I didn't go to Fort Dix, man. They had the privilege of going to Fort Dix, and I never ever did. I was always down south. But it's awesome, man, to be able to see him and see him with his battle buddies. They went to the tribute back in 2012 with his battle buddies there, man, and he went full in the National Guard full time. Made it to staff sergeant. I think he made sergeant first class. He got out of sergeant first class, and you can see him getting his promotions. And outstanding, man. He was in New York. He actually was served in New York, but I think he moved to Orlando, Florida now, and that's his unit right there. New York State Army. Yeah, he was the platoon leader, and there he is in the front. Outstanding. Outstanding, man. He did it, brother. I failed in a lot of ways that I wish I did, but I'm so proud of him, man. I'm so proud of you, brother. I mean, just Yeah. Outstanding, man. Look at him now. Yeah. Out freaking standing. Out freaking standing. Look at what his uniform on. Look at the years he served. Look at all the ribbons he got. Out freaking standing, man. Out freaking standing. They don't promote fast in the National Guard, so 20 years it's to make it a stat that's a normal. That's a normal. This him getting married, praise God, getting married with his battle buddies in his room. Yeah, phenomenal, man. We all should experience life like that. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I'm grateful to God that I'm alive. Grateful to God that, as you can see, he was in Belvoir, Virginia, and that's when he graduated with his AIT unit. I wish I had my pictures when I graduated from 7-1 Lima School. I don't have any. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot. But let's go back and show you. That was me when I was slim right there, baby. And you can see the change in me from this photo to this. This was me at Georgia Military College when I went to advanced camp and mission school. 93, I went through a lot to 94. You missed it. And then I lost it all. I gained a few pounds, a lot of pounds. And I lost it in 95. Thank God I got myself back to where I was in 93. 94 was a really hard year. And that's Georgia Military College, where they preach duty, honor, country, character above all. And of course, these photos are small. And it's like a miniature West Point. I would call it the West Point of the state of Georgia. Other than North Georgia College, which is now called North Georgia University, no one considers, even though they got a great ROTC, no one ever considers Dahlonega the power of the state. Millersville was the old state capital before it went to Atlanta, and still one of the oldest schools in the history of the state of Georgia. So to go now to GMC, and it's like honor. It's like I said, the West Point of Georgia, literally the West Point of Georgia. So let's go and let's talk about our. Sorry about that. Thought I turned my alarm off. We're almost done. All right. Turn off this so it doesn't ring. There we go. So this is our book. Michael Smith sent this to me, thank God. I had lost mine. So thank the Lord, this is on his page. And for some reason, I did not save it to mine. So I'm going to save them, and then I'm going to upload them to my page. So I'll never, ever forget that I was there. A lot has happened in these years. But I completed mine. And we'll see this book I lost his book. I gave it to my brother to keep, and unfortunately, I should have took it with me to Oklahoma, and I didn't. So it got lost in life. It's gone forever. But for those that go to Fort Leonard Wood or other forts around the country in the last 100 years, they also had their book. As you can see, people signed it. And of course, this is this Andrew Jackson, President of the United States, also owner of slaves, also the namesake of the city of Jacksonville, Florida, where I was raised. I never really understood that until later on in life, why they call it Jacksonville. These are the battalion headquarters. These are our troop. They call us troop barracks. We're a troop. This hospital, never went to that, thank God. Other than to do my initial shots and stuff like that. The dental clinics, thank God I had no problems with my teeth. Thank you, Lord, for that. Soldiers Post Museum. You know, it's funny. I have really, and I hope to get my credentials with the DRD, which allow me to go back on military bases. That'd be the ultimate goal for me, man, in my life at this age. Serve my country and to do what I could not do due to life's events. But I got to pass certain exams, which I will. And in the meantime, be working in the private sector. Then there are benefits and there's costs to serving in your government. The new president, praise God, changes, and that changes the government. And you remember, you work for the government, so you may be back in the private sector. So I'm not sure what God is going to allow me to do, but I definitely do have a passion to be able to have top secret clearance and access to all military bases again, and to serve in cybersecurity and cyber defense. These are the shots that we had to take. Boy, that gun was scary. Excuse my French. We all was scared of that shit. We all was scared. Oh, and this the photo where we had to take our uniform photo. And it was just like that. We stood in front of these lighting, and that's a shot. It was so fast. We got those shots so quick. It was like, damn. And then we had to get it with both arms simultaneously. Do. I mean, it was like, Jesus. But it was crazy. And this is us doing our PT. And this was in the cold. This is not us. Because we didn't do PT in the cold. We were summer. We never wore these. We were wearing PT shorts. So that's not our unit. They just kind of mixed in and cut in some things. Yeah, they didn't even show our ruck march in the video we just watched. I'm like, damn, we want to see that. Damn, they should have had a shot of that. They did have us that sling arms, showed us twice doing that, but and our inspection, beautiful shot, and our battalion commander, beautiful shot. I look forward to taking some of these shots and maybe magnifying them and then cutting them, editing them out, because some of these should be bigger, especially the repelling part. They may be old, but if we upgrade them and don't let them depixelize, they'll be funny as hell. See how we had to get on there and go down? Yeah. Beautiful, isn't it? I mean, he did the whole book, praise God. Sorry, it's 2 hours, but this is a great 2 hours. This is 2 hours of my past. Some that we can treasure. And for those that are going to go through basic in the future, by you studying the past, you can prepare and do well in your present and your future. But it's only by you studying others, brothers and sisters. It's very important. May not look like this when you go. It's going to be a lot newer, not new amenities, not newer things. But the foundation is the same. Oh, we got a long way to go. I wish I could have downloaded all of these at once, but the good news is that Michael, thank you, Michael, for giving me access to this. And I guess I never made a folder for myself. First time. There we go. There's graduation. And there's my charting company right there. Here is the brigade commander, the battalion commander. Never met him, Lieutenant Colonel Richmond, and Captain Little was the company commander. These three men are the commanders, and these are the sergeant majors for each level. So the SFC was a platoon sergeant of my platoon, but there's like 4 platoon sergeants now. I mean, the first sergeant, he was the first sergeant, so he's a top sergeant. Except he ain't got promoted to master sergeant. Normally, a master sergeant becomes a first sergeant, but he will be, or he was. And then we have the drill sarge. Let me show you who my drill sergeant was. Woo-wee! So these are this is our battalion chaplain. Never got a chance to know him. He was a major that would be praying for us and praying, and that would have been a great. I'm a pastor now. If I had known that, I may have pursued being a chaplain, but I never did. I never thought that. I didn't get saved until later on in my life. So, but that if I was young and I had known God earlier, I may have been a chaplain. Our NCO, that's our training NCO. Our first platoon sergeant, never met him. Okay. Our second platoon sergeant, our assistant, they had three sergeants for each platoon. So he's the senior DI, called the first platoon sarge. Then we have assistant and assistants. These are the second DIs that are with that first platoon. We were second platoon, and this name was Drill Sergeant Rick. He was an SFC too. So we had excuse my French, but we had an F and FFC. Most platoon sergeants, staff sergeants, and as you can see, he was a Marine. So not only was he that, he had a combat infantryman's badge, and he was Marine. So and Sergeant Mumford did as well. A lot of the men didn't even have a CIB. If you go look closely, no CIB. So we had a combat infantryman's badge, senior DI who was a Marine who switched to the Army. And he trained us like the Marines, dude. I swear to God. So he went to Marine Corps basic, but he ended up being an Army DI. Interesting. All right. So that's our DI. Now underneath that, here comes our native sergeants. K. Simmons. Now his name started with K. I never knew that. Drill Sergeant K. Simmons. I never knew that. And that was our assistant drill sergeant. So there was only 2 drill sergeants for my platoon. We had Drill Sergeant Rick, and we had Drill Sergeant Simmons. That was it. I thought we had 3, but no, it was basically Drill Sergeant Rick and Drill Sergeant Simmons. Whereas they had 3 for first platoon. I don't like that. You get 3 to them, only give us only 2. That's not right. But look at third platoon. They get Sergeants Salas, Gonzalez, which I remember him. He was our third, but I just knew his name. But he was the third platoon drill sergeant. And then they had Barrios, of African American. Slay, I never met him. He has CIB and air assault. And then Hicks, I never met him. Notice blacks. Notice how many African Americans. This is 1992, dog. And notice, okay, there he is. Staff Sergeant D.O.B. Dobness. There he is. He was missing. So they didn't have a picture for him, but so they did have, he was a black guy. This guy was a tall, 6'5" African American. So it was him and Drill Sergeant Simmons, Drill Sergeant Dobness, and Drill Sergeant Simmons that were our quote unquote drill sergeant. So that's why you only see but Drill Sergeant Simmons, I would say that was the guy that did all the work. That was the mother sucker that everybody platoon hated that guy. Glory to God. Wow. Outstanding. Amazing. Amazing. And this is our unit. These are everybody, and these are the people that were in the whole company. So we're going to now, just as I'm taking snapshots, let's go back and let's download. I did not download a snapshot. Did I do everything? Let's see. Did I save this photo? I need to make sure I saved it. No, I didn't. Okay. Because I want to upload all these to my page. And some of these men may be going to glory, but they won't be forgotten. And I'm saving the whole page as I go down each one. Some of these guys I never saw again. Some of these guys I do remember, but some I don't. Well, this is all of us at week 1. So, but some of the uniforms look so good, like they look like they were their actual uniforms. I'm not gonna lie. They gave us a fake clip-on tie to tie in, and it wasn't even our uniforms. It was black and white too. They didn't even give us color until you bought it and sent it home. All right, so to copy this. Jermaine Carter is underlined. That black guy, yep, he was definitely in my platoon. I remember him. And James Clark, he was also in our platoon. All the ones that are highlighted in green were in our platoon. Cooley, and Cotton. I didn't know them that well. Other ones are not in my platoon. Pray they're still alive, man. It's only been 30 years. Wow. Black, white, Hispanic. Black, white, Hispanic. It was the only place in my life where I saw everybody, all races, man. I don't think we had an Asian person up to though. I don't think we did. But there he is, Robert Hamilton. That was a tall 6'5" guy. That was the one was walking behind with his in parade rest, walking up the stairs in parade rest. That was a week. That was like day one, okay. But I'll never forget that when I watched the video. I was like, oh my god. But he became my squad leader. Yes, he was. He became a good squad leader. Praise God. Yeah, he did, man. Yes, he did. Oh my God. Hawkins, he was in opportunity. Yeah. Hodges. Yeah, Hodges. Right here. His black brother right here. And his brother with the big ears, Hoffman. He was in opportunity. Yep, I remember him. And there I am right there. And he wrote the word #1 and he circled me. Now, this was not my quote unquote book. This is his book. But he ended up circling #1. Like, I wasn't #1. I wasn't honor grad. I wish I was, but he's like, I wasn't honor grad. And then there's Clifton. Clifton was in my platoon too as well. Actually, all three. Hunt and all three of us together had the same last name back then. But we were all in the same group, as well as Rich, as well as Hodges and Hoffman. But I swear to God, I was not #1. But he put #1 there. So thank you, Michael Smith, man. I'm honored, very honored. But this guy right here, this the guy I remember. Lewis, Marion Lewis. I've been looking him up for years. Marion Lewis, man, he was so cool. I remember him. Who else? And that's the honor graduate. Jersevich Michael D. Yeah, I found him online. He became an honor graduate. He was honored. He was the best. And I found him online, reached out to him, asked him to accept my actual page. And to this day, man, I'm like, that man, I never forgotten. And there's a lot of men out there, but he had the perfect height, 5'11", 6 foot. He just had the jawline. And I wish to God that I, you know, could have been like him. So and there he is, Michael D. Jersevich. He lives in Ohio, but there he is. There he is. Jersey, I found him. I looked him up, man. I said, I had to find that dude. After I found Michael Smith, I had to find him. You know, you go to basic and you're just like, where do you go? Right? That was an honor grad. In our platoon, the second platoon. Swear to God. Swear to God. My mama's grave. That was honor grad. Can't think of anybody else right there. I'm looking, Holy Spirit. Now, this is the whole company. So this is 200 people, but they're all broken down between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th platoons. And brother here, McFadden. Gerald I. McFadden. God bless that. I need to find him. I'm trying. Gerald I. McFadden. Oh, is it Gerald L? Gerald L, sorry. If I can find him. We all should be 50 now. We're getting close to it. Gerald L. McFadden. African American. Wow. That's yeah, that's cool. Good job. That's what I want to do. He runs, he exercises, keep himself in shape. That's a great dinner. Dennis, brother. And is he my friend? Are we friends? I don't think we're friends, are we? We got one mutual friend. No, I guess so. Maybe we are friends. Okay. Yeah, we are friends. I got a Gerald McFadden, but that can't be. That's not a Gerald McFadden that I know. There's a lot of Gerald McFaddens. There's a lot of Gerald McFaddens. My God, that name is known. Okay. I need to find any friends. That's what I was going to have to say. Gerald L. McFadden. Darn, I got to. There's a Corey McFadden. Man, Lord help me find that, brother. Got a lot of work to do. Wish I could see age, places. No, the Holy Ghost meant to figure that guy. Remember you, brother. I remember, and also McNair right next to him, both of them. God, it's amazing how they both had the same close names. But the black guys, you remember, man. It just you never forget. But I'm African American. But the amazing part about it was, let's see, if I try to say this twice, would it do it again? Oh, it does. Oh, I don't like that. So let me go back. I don't want to say the same picture 3 times. All right, I'll be right back. Almost done with this. And next, this guy right here, Richard Potter. Never forget him as well. As well as the guy right next to him. His name was Jerome Prince. Big lips. Yeah, remember you, brother. We remember you. I remember you. I remember you. Man, we did have an Asian guy in Ramos. Is he Asian or Hispanic? Couldn't tell. And then, oh, this guy like a grown ass man, dude. I don't remember him. John and Richie, he was obviously older than us. You can tell he had to be in his mid-20s at that time. Dude. He looks like he was grown. And how they got his neck so up in the air compared to everybody else? But you notice they have the heads. They try to keep the heads all on the same level as they're supposed to be. But oh, why is his neck so high compared to everybody else's neck? I'm just sorry. Amen. And then we have more. Let's see. There's Mr. Smith right there. Michael J. Smith. There he was right there. He the one who became a staff sergeant, man. That's my battle buddy right there. And Michael Smith. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Remember Riviera? Don't remember them. They weren't in my platoon. Wow. Oh, yeah, I remember this guy right here. This dude, this brother. Yes, his name was Southworth. Southworth. He had a little mark on his chin, on his cheek. Southworth. I haven't seen that guy in years. Kurt K. Southworth. Kurt K. Southworth. My God. 30 years I have not seen this. Kurt K. What a name, right? Kurt K. Southworth. I see a business consultant, and that name, Kurt K. Southworth. That's white guys. Okay, it's a white guy. Fine. See anybody else black has that name? It's a unique name, man, for African American, brother. Kurt K. Southworth. Jesus. May I find the brother named Kurt K. My Lord. Wow, a lot of these guys I don't remember. Trying, man. I'm trying. And this is us in our different areas. Our last photo of the unit. Bayonet training, as you can see, the photos look old. Thank God that picture comes out really good. You're reaching deep inside you, things you've never known. It's been rough, tough going, but you haven't gone alone. Be all that you can be. Look at the brothers right here. This is it. This what I told you. You see how tall he was? Hold on a second. Hold on. Right at the bottom right. That little photo. I gotta start. All right. Now I got my snipping tool. It's time to pull out. As we finish, we're gonna pull out a snipping tool. And we're gonna do some snippet. I'm cutting it up, brother. I'm making pictures of pictures. Yeah. Be all that you can be. That's the brother that walked with the parade rest. I'll never forget this day for the rest of my life. That brother. Come on, let's zoom in this thing. Let's zoom in this. All of them. Oh, come on now. What's going on? I gotta zoom back out. Oh, I drag it over. Sorry, drag it over. All right. They all were together. And they stunned. You can see he was taller than everybody. Of course, that helped them become the assassin and to become the leader. And always they pick the tall man theory. The tallest always be the leader because you can see them over everybody. The gift of height, Lord Jesus, the gift of height. But I would like to meet that brother, man. I want to see if I can find out where he was at. So we'll make sure we copy these. Another great photo that I want to do. This is my platoon. Definitely these guys I remember here. All right. Let's see if I find another one on rappel. I'm looking. It was all in black and white and wasn't great pixelization, but it's okay. We're gonna have to do some augmented with Photoshop, really kind of tweak them up, try to make it better. Photoshop. Scanner, the scanner, the photos they were using were, oh no, this is an old 1992 book, man. So you can only imagine the quality of the book. This map reading. We're doing map reading here. There was so much we learned, man. Map reading. I was not involved in those classes. I don't think there was any photos of me here that I've seen. But it's all right. They got me on the bayonet course, praise God. They got me in drilling ceremonies. Proud of that. At least I was there. I know I was there. Here's us at the range firing. I had to fire right, left-handed. But they normally want you to fire right, but I was a left-handed guy, so that was kind of weird. Firing across your body. You notice nobody really fires left-handed. It was always right. Now I can fire both. This is good. Oh, sorry. Almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. Damn. So now we finally get some color. And it's that graduation. Wish I could find me, man. And this is us. Get on the bus. And they're going to advanced training. I went home. Because my advanced training was a year later. I went back to high school. What experience, huh? What an experience. And that's the back of the book. All right. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to see this stuff, man. I thank God for Michael for showing this to us. Guys, I'm proud of you. All right, so she's going in. Good job. Protect the vagina. Amen. We understand. This was family day at Fort Jackson.
let's talk about graduation. The graduation ceremony will be right here, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will be crowded, so I recommend arrive early. Now, if you're ready to see your soldiers, let me hear it 40 rounds.
Yeah, baby. Soldiers. They're soldiers. They're soldiers.
They look great out there, champions. All right, everybody, what are we waiting for? Let's go see your soldier.
That's all right.
Feather in, these are the seeds.
Come on, come around.
That's bad. You sitting and waiting for someone to find you. When no one comes, man, you're like, fuck me. This is them coming back later on. That's it.
On 27 February 1988, the 13th Infantry Regiment was transferred to the First Battalion, led by Senior Drill Sergeant
Sorry, that's weaker. I'm sorry. I don't like that at all. There it is. That was Victory Time. That was. It looks a lot smaller, but it's actually very high. When you down there, you're like that to that thing, and that's playing with your mind. It was much higher. It was hella much higher. This looks, yeah, it was hella much higher. All right, this ain't Howard. We're signing out, brother. Good job. This will defend.